All right, well, here we are, last log of the day. And this log Doug's going to do because it's bigger than the other one. And he's a younger guy, so he can turn them. So it works out all right. But everyone's going to load this guy up. We're a little bit shorthand today. A couple of guys are out sick. Somebody's got COVID, blah, blah, blah. So what Doug's going to do here is going to saw some 2x8's for framing lumber. And it should work out pretty well. It's a nice size log. It's oak. The other ones were poplar. I think this is oak. We'll see in a minute. Anyway, but it's a good log. We cut it to 14 foot long because the fellow's looking for 14 foot long boards. And it'll work out. So no more babbling for me. Fast forward to about right now, and you'll get to where we start sawing lumber. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. You guys have a great day. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to keep my pie holes shut, but just a quick explanation for some of the new guys here. This little log here, it's not a really big log, it's maybe 20 inches. The saw is a 56-inch diameter saw blade. It's got 52 teeth on it, but the first step that Doug's doing is cutting the slab wood off of it, as you can see, the bark, because we don't have a debarker. And the goal here is to make the round log square. Once he makes the round log square, we call that a cant. Why is it called a cant? It's a cant because you can't roll it. I'm pretty funny, huh? I'll stick with my day job. But anyway, once he's got it square on four sides, then he can start cutting 2x8's out of it. And that's the story, and I'm sticking with it. So watch this carefully as Doug pushes this board through. The goal here is not to drop it off entirely because he's going to send it back for a resaw. So as soon as it drops down just a little bit, you'll see it right there, he wants to send it back towards us. And that way when he sends it back towards us, we can break it off. I've got a small tab on it, and then we're good to go. And watch this. It falls off right there. That's about as good as it gets. So that's a perfect job. It's kind of tricky to do, actually. Sometimes the doggone cant falls off down the other end, and we have to push it back. That's not the goal. So Doug has two sides squared up. What we like to do, since this sawmill is so worn out, is we want to put the flat side down and towards the back. Although the back of it, okay, and the head blocks aren't worn because we replaced them, but the rest of this assembly is all worn out and it's not very straight. So it works best, we get nice looking lumber, if we keep the flat side or the cants on the back and towards the bottom. Kind of works out pretty well. And just so you know, I'm not ignoring you. You guys have all had a lot of great feedback. I'm looking at some sort of a way to roll these logs a little bit easier, especially when there's only two of us here rolling logs. Matt's out sick. I think he's got COVID or a cold or something. I don't know what he's got. But there's two of us. Fortunately, this log's not too big. So I'm looking at getting a railroad jack. That's what Frick and Jeep uses, Dr. John. And a railroad jack, I think, is a good idea. With a little extension on it, we can rotate them. I'm also looking at something maybe electric powered or hydraulic powered, which will roll it for us. It's not going to be an automated sawmill. It never will, because we're having fun doing it manually. But some of these logs we're doing are pretty hard to roll. This one's actually not so bad. So somebody said, what do we do with all this extra slab wood? That's the round part of the log that we cut off because we don't need it. It's the bark. We give it away. If you want some, stop on by any Wednesday morning. Actually, anytime. We've got a pile of it. In the wintertime, it goes quick. People use it for firewood. Yeah, I know it's green, but a lot of people still use it for firewood, and it works out pretty good. And the sawdust, we give to the animal people. There's animals here because this is sort of a working farm. It used to be a big working farm a long time ago, but the animals like the sawdust, and we give it to them, and they like to sleep on it. Makes them very comfortable at night. So Doug's going to be sawing a big cant now. It's going to be 8 inches wide, so he can slice off 8-inch boards. A little bit tricky here because if he drops this one, if he cuts it all the way through, we've got to push it back. And it's 14 foot long, 8-inch cant by 20 some odd inches. It's heavy. It's hundreds of pounds. So he's going to be super, super careful here at the very end here so he doesn't cut this too far. And you'll see when it drops down, the goal is when it drops down, as soon as it drops a little bit, push it back. I'm a little bit more conservative. I'd rather chip off the tabs at the other end, but watch this. As soon as it slows down a little bit, drops down, right about now, he'll send it on back. And that way, we don't have to push it back manually, and it's a little bit safer, much safer operation. But now what we have to do is pull it off and then get it out of the way. That was about as good as it gets, Doug. Nice job. Okay, you're wondering what Doug's minimum wage stare is here. What the heck is going on? Sadly, we're running out of gas. The Minneapolis Moline 605 HEB, 605 cubic inches, dual carburetors, takes a lot of gasoline. Actually, I'm going to check it out because I think Pete put maybe 10 gallons in it, 15. I bet you we use 3 or 4 gallons per hour. Might even be more than that. This thing's a hog, that's for sure. So stand by while Pete runs out and gets a little bit more gasoline and we can get back in business. Now, Doug finally's got a couple nice sized cants here, all sewn up, and he's ready to start slamming through some boards. Making boards is actually pretty quick. And I know, theoretically, we could stack one cant on top of the other, but since Doug and I are the only ones here at the onload end where we have to stack the cants, this old dog is not going to do that. So we'll do one at a time. So in case you're wondering, to save you the effort, that's 14 seconds to saw one 14-foot long 2x8. It's not bad. And this wood is poplar, so it's not super hard. But our saw, we've used it a few weeks now. It's not quite as sharp as it used to be.